Hey everybody, I'm getting ready to go do a land walk, and it's a really windy day. So I'm going to be looking at a small piece of land for sale, and in the fall it was selectively logged, supposedly, and so I'm going to take a peek and see what it looks like, and this could be a future homestead for me. And I'm excited to look at it. It's really far off the road though, so I am going to do the best I can to be prepared. And you can see the tracks I'm making here in the woods. You can definitely see here. I'm sinking in like 1.5 feet. So it is time to do this right. Got my snowshoes on. They're preventing me from sinking in about 60%. These are property boundaries right here. These pink flags. This is a little bit of looks like a seasonal creek. I was wrong. Here's the creek on this old rock wall. Time to keep going. I'm gonna go uphill a little bit. Debating on crossing on that log or going up a little higher. I'll go up. Actually, this looks like the logging road up ahead. I want to point something out that I learned. See this red maple tree? It's pretty big. I have no idea how old it is, but I'm going to estimate that it's about 40 years old. You can see how it has multiple trunks coming off of what I can only guess to be a root response of a previous logging. And when your forests are not being managed, from what I'm learning, you get these 4, 5, 6 headed trees. They get quite large, like this red maple. And you can see how there's actually water building up on the inside. There's ice in there. That's probably going to rot the core eventually. Fungus might get in and it'll weaken the core, and eventually these arms are going to start falling off one by one and just decimating all the trees that are around it. And there's a really good YouTube channel that I've been watching called New England Forests. And now that I'm starting to understand what some of this landscape looks like right now, I've begun to learn that this is likely to be not ideal. Not only has the fact that this tree was cut off for logging 30 or 40 or 50 years ago, it's going to forever be a weakened tree. It's forever going to be weakened because it's got so many main leaders coming up, and the core is going to rot. It might take 100 years for this tree to grow bigger than this, get heavy, and have these trunks fall over, damage all the trees around them, and for those trees around them to recover or perish of their wounds and something else taking its place. And so you can see here, there's another red maple right there with a single stem. That red maple looks pretty decent. It's got one central leader, looks pretty straight. But if you look up near the canopy, it's really struggling. You can see here, it's really struggling. It doesn't even have any horizontal branches growing in the direction of this big, this big three-headed hydra. And so that maple is just struggling against this, behemoth here of this root response growth. And I don't know enough to understand if this three-headed hydra falls over. I don't know enough to know if this single stem maple tree is going to be able to reach its full maturity or its full stature, even if it doesn't get hit. I just don't know. So it's interesting. And the forests here very much look like that. You can see right there. Another one. I could flip the camera around. Look at this. There's another one right there. And it's everywhere here. It's everywhere. Okay, gonna keep going. I'm gonna try to cross right here. Made it. Those are some pretty big tracks. Could be deer. Look at this beautiful wall. Yeah, this looks like a logging disturbance. This may be, yeah, okay, I see a fresh cut right there. So this is a logging disturbance here. Looks like a little road runs off this way. I'm glad I'm wearing my snowshoes now because the log skidders make such deep ruts. You could sink in 4 feet without recognizing it. Oh yeah. It's definitely a skidder trail. And it looks like it doesn't go all the way in this way. Yeah, there's a big stump right there. There's another stump. There's another stump. Oh, looks like the skidder went all the way into that huge stump over here. I'm gonna apologize to anyone listening if I start sounding like I am incredibly sad, and I don't want to besmirch people that log professionally for a living. Yet again, more perhaps root response from a cutting some decades ago. Oh, that was a big one. Looks like an eastern white pine. I'm trying to become a tree guy, so I'm trying to learn what I'm looking at. Oh, that's a big one. Oh my word. Wow. On this long diagonal, that's at least 40 inches. This is a 27 inch. Yeah, that's a 27 inch snowshoe. This was a monster. This was a monster. Would have been beautiful to see it. Wow. It looks like perhaps maybe this is some of the top they left behind. You can see some damage. The value of this land after this logging would likely be quite a bit less. And in general, I find myself not being emotionally attracted to land that had been logged. Well, first off, ever, especially recently. However, after the value of those monster trees, probably at least 100 years old, have been removed from the land, it becomes much more affordable. Look at this beautiful tree right here. Look at that. Oh no. Looks like the top broke off. It looks quite dangerous, actually. Look at that right there. I'm going to stay very clear of this, especially in this wind. It looks like it might be old rot. I'm going to try to do an identification on this tree. I should know this one. Looks kind of like a hemlock, but I'm not a tree guy. Yeah, this is what I'm actually looking to inspect pretty heavily here. The stump rub, as the loggers were dragging logs this way, heading towards the road, which is almost 1,000 feet straight down that way. They're doing this kind of collateral damage. I'd like to understand more about what the long-term ramifications of this kind of collateral damage might be, especially to this tree or trees like this, preferably ones that haven't lost their top. And I'm going to move away from this tree now, but I wanted to give you an up-close look of that rub. We might see that pretty often. Yep, red maple, got a rub right there. Snow is deep. Wow. It's almost 60 degrees. Well, it reached 60 degrees today, but right now, look at how much I'm sinking in. Sinking in 10 inches. Some more rub. like a top from the logging. It's beautiful though. It's really beautiful. Even with the stumps, it's beautiful. My purpose for being out here, one, I thought it would be nice just to film a land walk. I'm not going to be doing any hardcore evaluation other than just taking you along and getting a feel for what this property looks like in the late afternoon. I looked extensively at GPS maps before coming out here. I'd show you the maps, but I respect the right of the property owner not to have their property posted online. So I got a pretty good idea where I'm at. I'm occasionally looking down at a backup phone running a GPS. This is a really interesting site right here. I didn't expect the elevation to be this high. You can see off deep in the woods back there, you can see how the elevation rises up again considerably higher than where I'm standing now. This is clearly a continuation of the logging road. There's a few big stumps in here, but the canopy is now just so open, so open. I think I'm gonna take this high road first. It's got more sun on it. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon in mid-February. And so I'm gonna guess that the sun is gonna set right about here. Maybe over here, but I'm guessing right about here. And I'm gonna use a sunlight tracking app. I'm going to assume, based upon my experience, the sun probably rises right over there in the center of the frame. Give or take. Could be a little more off this way, but I'm just gonna make that assumption. And after I do some more research, if I'm interested in this land, I'll come out here and do a proper survey. I'm gonna put a glove on real fast. Sorry. There we go. Another big stump. Not nearly as big as the other one. Oh, interesting. Wonder why they took this tree. It looks... This doesn't look like this would be a good saw log. It was another root response growth, it looks like. See? It's two separate leaders growing side by side. I can't really identify it. I'm not really sure what it was just yet. I really need to learn my trees better. Hey. Hello. This makes me really happy. I think I just found something I've been hoping I would see. Really hoping I would see. I believe I just found some chaga. I think this might be chaga. White birch. Looks unhealthy. I see more up there. I really want to pick at this to see if you get that characteristic orange. I'm very, very likely believing that's a nice hunk of chaga, several pounds. I refuse to touch it, as this is not my land. Not even to just probe it to see what it is. It's not my property. But that's really something that makes you really happy. My understanding is that the chaga mushroom conch eventually will kill this tree. Wow, look at that. But for its medicinal properties, I'm very happy to see that. Another one. Got some snow on my boots. Boy, this is beautiful though. Wow. I'm gonna guess, based upon just eyeballing this land right here, I'm gonna pan over. So first, I believe this is, the direction I'm facing is west-northwest. I'm gonna pan to west-southwest, and you kind of see that bump, the little bump up. I'm not exactly sure how low this is down here in the middle, but I'm gonna guess that this is about a 15-foot elevation change from that point right there that looks like it's about 150 feet away from here. It's really, really difficult to express grade on video. And because I've dealt with it for so many years, I at least feel somewhat comfortable giving some kind of an estimation. Nice little dense pocket here of undisturbed younger conifers. Whoa, it's deep. Looks like a red oak right there. I'm gonna try to hurry up. The tracks have melted so much, I'm unsure what some of these tracks were. Maybe we'll see some moose tracks that are fresh enough to identify. Look at the red color on that. This looks like it's a very old stump. Wow, it's vibrant. Wow, I wonder what this was. I'm wondering if this was an old hemlock that was logged 20 or 30 years ago, maybe longer, that the stump persisted. That's the only wood that I'm aware of that would have this deep red color. It still feels really sound too. Wow. Look how old that stump is. Definitely deer tracks, I'm pretty sure. So many of them. Right on the property line. So this is the property in question on the side that I'm standing. It's right on the edge. Unsure who owns that side. Here's another root response. 30 or 40-year-old red maple. Looks like an old root response that the core rotted and sent down the trees around it. And this is precisely, wow. This is precisely what I wanted, what I was mentioning 20 minutes ago. This red maple here was growing next to this large, I'm unsure exactly what that was, it's too far gone, as it rotted out because this forest was never managed. This tree looked just like this one when this was logged X number of decades ago. This rotted, died, fell onto this red maple. You can see this red maple it's not doing well. Is it gonna bounce back after this rots and falls off? I don't know. It's gonna be permanently disfigured regardless. But this is exactly what I'm talking about with logging happening and zero management coming after the logging experience. I really wonder if someone just came out here with some loppers and cut the suckers off this stump at 3 years or 4 years post logging, if that would have given time for the canopy to envelop it and smother this stump so it could rot, versus allowing the root response to take advantage of that massive root structure in the earth to outcompete with this wounded from birth top growth like this. And then that wounded growth eventually dies decades later and then wounds the regrowth around it. Wow, look. It's kind of strange to see this top of this tree laying here. I feel like the logger would be unlikely to have done that, because how does he get around it? Unless that was the last tree. Looks like another red oak. I can only fathom this was not logged because of the bend in it. Oh, whoa. Oh boy. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. Looks like the side of a whole tree right there. I just fell down next to it. Whew. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh no. This is a fresh blowdown. Look. Look at the stump right there. Wow. This is a blowdown. This could be very, very fresh. Maybe we can walk around the logging trail and see it from the backside. I don't want to go through here. I don't want to get tripped up with my snowshoes. Oh, wow. Big stumps. Big stumps. Big stump right there. Look at that, though. believe this is root response red oak regrowth. This is another red oak, about 16, 17 inches. You can tell it was reaching for the sky to the southeast. It's pretty straight though. This could become a healthy tree. I don't appear to see any damage around the base. That makes me happy. It's got a lean in it, but the trunk is pretty straight. Maybe this can become a really beautiful tree someday. It's already a beautiful tree, but maybe it can get big. Oh my gosh, look at that. Wow. I like to think this was spared on purpose, all those rubs. It definitely was brushed, but doesn't appear to have damaged it. But some of the trees are not so lucky. Well, this is spectacular. I'm gonna stop the video so it can save and then restart it. All right, we're rolling again. Put my gloves back on. I'd like to find the southwestern property line here. It's a big piece of outcropping ledge. It looks like I'm on the southeast. I'm in the southeast quadrant of the property. I don't know how deep the snow is. Lots of logging remnants. I'm seeing what looks like a lot more logging damage down here. Oh, yep, that's what I was afraid of. Look at that. Snowshoes are still a benefit out here. That's another red oak. Definitely has some damage, but it looks like it's superficial enough. Oh, it's a pretty good gash right there, though. Pretty good gash. I don't want to speak ill of loggers and people that make their living doing this work, but I don't like seeing all the damage. However, I'm uncertain if it's even avoidable within reason. It's like an old blowdown. It's a big red oak. Leaning for that sunshine. Going for that sun. Another red maple root response growth. red maple root response growth. I believe I've just exited the land just ever so slightly. I'm going to try to re-enter quickly. I did not ask for permission to enter anyone else's land. Okay, looks like I'm back in. There's another ancient rock wall. It's beautiful. I don't think I want to go any farther down there. I thought I was going to get to the southeastern property boundary, but unless that's it right there, I don't really want to go down. It's hard to see on video, but it's very steep. It's probably a 15% grade going downhill. Beautiful rocks. Look at these rock outcropping. Yep, I'm at the back of the property now. And I'm down. Oh, I just got some snow in my pants. Yep. I knew this was going to be a workout. I am not disappointing. A lot of trees removed from right here. I think these big bumps are actually stumps. Oh yeah, whatever's underneath my feet is definitely stout. Hear that crunch? That tells me that it didn't thaw as much here. This amount of evergreen canopy seems to have kept this ground a little colder, even though it was very warm today. Supposedly it hit almost 60 when you were in a valley. Yeah, big stump. Red maple already looks like it's beginning to rot. All that black goo coming out of the crack right there. Bunch of little ones. Another one right there. I can't help but think if there was management that this forest would look very different. Not that I even fully understand what that entails. Like somebody was eating something here. It's a big burl. I call them knots, but up here they call them burls. And I'm down again. It's hard to leave that view behind. That was another very big tree. It looks like we're circling back on that blowdown that I think might be fresh bedrock. Oh, wow. Look at that. Huh. Wait a second. Wait a second. That's not the blowdown. Let's go check this out. I don't know if the logger did this. I see logging trimmings all around, but this is a good sized tree. It's got no cuts on it. This might be a blowdown. Big damn tree. Wow, look at these. Think of the force. Look at this. Look at this. This is 30 pounds. Oh, yeah, it's white pine. Wow, look at that. We had crazy winds in the last week and a half. This is very fresh. This is very fresh. So I think this might be indirectly caused by the logging. There was shelter trees all over. There's a massive stump right there. I walked past 2 or 3 big ones. There's a lot of debris right here. There may be a stump in there. There's another very large stump right there. This one was left behind because of the rot, and it lost its family. Yeah, that was another quite large tree right there. It lost its family, and in the windstorm, it blew right over. Oh, wow, look. That's the other blowdown. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, this is fresh. This happened at the same time. Yep, big stump right there. It's a big white pine. The wind was allowed to get in here now after the logging, and it's starting to push all these trees over. This is definitely something I'm gonna have to keep in mind if I am able to purchase this land. Very much something I need to keep in mind. You can see a little bit of damage up there on that red oak. I called out this red oak when we were coming down the pathway over there. A little bit of damage up there. Wow, this was a beautiful tree as well. Wow, this is really something to think about. 2 blowdowns in one storm of big, big trees. Wow. I mean, think of the force. Think of the force required to just rip this out of the ground. With those shelter trees around it no longer able to work, the wind just pushes on it like a pry bar, plucks it right out of the ground. As a potential home builder in this context, I have to definitely think about this. I have to consider what the implications are on everything from road building to just everything. That's a big tree. Wow. So much to think about. Rest in peace, big guy. That's a large tree. This would have been providing direct shelter from westerly winds. Put my hat back on. Put this camera down for just 1 second. I'm gonna pause the video and restart it to save it. I'm gonna go a slightly wider angle now. That's how deep the ruts are for the log skidders. It's probably not good to have these water lines or these lines running right down contour. I can see a lot of erosion here. Oh, down in the rut. Let's see here. Looks like I was unable. I didn't get it in my boot. Well, I hope this is enjoyable. Wow, that dirty water kind of smells good. I'm gonna put the phone down. Let's see here. Let's see here. This is too funny. I love it. Here we go. Here we go. Thank God it didn't go over my boot. Look at that. I fell almost up to my knee. I didn't even know that was there. Oh yeah, look at that. So I'd really like to continue down this trail, but I'm gonna skip it because I don't want to get wet and have to walk 15 minutes out of here. So you almost got me. Just 100 feet back there, I was pointing out how deep these ruts are from these logging equipment. Now I'm gonna see if I can step over. Oh, looks like I made it. It's treacherous. Treacherous. Okay. Hopefully this will be some high drama on video. Okay, those are my tracks. About an hour ago. Yep, that's me. We come full circle. You could hardly tell the view just 150 feet that way from up here. I'm gonna drop a GPS pin here so I can remember the spot specifically. It's windier up here. Oh, just lost my shoe. In fact, maybe I should take them off and walk in my tracks on the way back. Actually, no. I'm gonna keep the safety net of surface tension. Oh, I see what happened. The binding loosened on the back. This is hard to do one-handed. High drama. There we go. Let's get that over there. This is really hard to do with one hand. Got it. Okay. Sorry for the intermission. Let's tighten these bindings too while I'm at it. Yep. All right, here we go. Oh, they feel much better now that I tightened them. Should have paid attention to that before. How pretty. You've already seen this direction, so I'm going to flip this camera around, talk a little bit. This is my exercise for the day. Let me adjust this. There we go. Well, the primary goal of doing this is just to look at this land. I want to see it. I want to see it several times, actually, preferably. And I want to get a feel for it. Come out here and see what the sun charts look like. See about roughly when this would be getting full sun, how much obstruction would there be. Whatever I would do on this land potentially would be passive solar, probably off-grid, very far from the road. I'm only gonna guess the cost to run power out here to either one of the two kind of more open spots where the logging was most extensive, thus allowing me to possibly build a home here with the minimal amount of forest disturbance, I'm guessing it would be $30,000 to $50,000, just guessing. And even if the prices of underground conduit and wire go down, that price might only drop 20 or 30%, 50% even. But $20,000 to $30,000 is probably still beyond what I would consider to be at all viable to have a grid connection. And I have mixed feelings about the grid connection, let's put it that way. But if it's affordable and easy to do, it's a hell of a backup. And if you do intend on going heavy solar in the future, or heavy renewables, whatever that is, then you can push excess power back onto the grid. So even though we may not like necessarily being on the grid is kind of community. And pushing power back, profitably getting paid for it, could potentially be a kind of a healthy thing for your local region. Out here though, it would probably have to be off grid. I just can't really imagine that I would find it viable to put that kind of expense and time. It would take a long time to run power out here. A long time. I'm approaching that stream that we saw earlier. Oof. I'll flip the camera around so you can see it. Look at this. Try to get up on it without falling in. This is so pretty. This is the logging road still. Down there is where we came up. And with that, I think I'm gonna turn this off. It's probably been an hour, even if I cut this video a little bit. So thank you for entertaining me. I should say entertaining the journey. I'm gonna put this camera away and go focus on trying to get out of here before dark. And yeah, I might do a little voiceover and give some thoughts, but it's really beautiful. And there are advantages to buying land that had been selectively logged. This means that the previous homeowner likely extracted some value in cash out of the land and gives you an opportunity to make your own choices moving forward with what to do with that land. If all things being equal, I would clearly have the preference of having land that was untouched under almost any and all circumstances. And while it's nice to imagine that, it's just not usually financially viable or feasible. And if you're willing to buy land that was previously logged, you've got a bit of a partially blank canvas with which to kind of nurture a new purpose for that land, because it will take decades for that forest to regenerate and that canopy to reconnect above us here. It'll take a long time. And with minimal disturbance to the existing forest, it would be quite possible to put a little home for yourself into a place like this. So that's what I'm thinking about doing.